repeat. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to present our president, Daniel Burgos. Daniel Burgos is the current president at NYU. He works as a full professor of technology for education and communication and as vice rector for international research at the University Internacional La Rioja, UNIR, which is part of the Produca Group. He holds an UNESCO chair on learning. He's also the director of the Research Institute for Innovation and Technology in Education, UNIR ITED. He has implemented more than 80 European and worldwide R&D projects, research and development projects, and published more than 250 specific papers, 58 books, and special issues on 11 patents. He works as the consultant for United Nations, ISESCO, and the European Commission and Parliament, and the Russian Committee of Science. He holds 12 PhD degrees, including computer science and education. So we are very glad to have such a high-profile professor and doctor, Daniel Burgos, who will be holding her first presentation with the students today. Dr. Burgos.
Thank you, Marisol, Dr. Salcedo. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. This is my second event as a new president. The first one was yesterday with your professors. I'm very glad to be part of MIU. As you know, MIU is a university, part of the holding group called ProEduca, which is a large enterprise with 7 universities across the world and other 30 companies related, all of them, to education, like, for instance, content provision or media production. I think that when Dr. Salcedo asked me to talk to you today, just for 40 minutes or so, it will not take long. We discussed a number of topics, and we thought that one of the burning topics that right now in education and in the world is about artificial intelligence, okay, how ChatGPT and other related tools are really taking over the panorama. This talk today is not that long, and it will be very much focused on how to use artificial intelligence in education and how we modify the actual way that education is perceived and used by the teaching staff, meaning lecturers, professors, researchers, but mainly by you, the students. So I will talk for 20 minutes, 30, and I hope that we can have some sort of dialogue with you here, face-to-face, and also with the people online, so we can have some sort of questions, any type of question that you want to address with regards to the topic or to the university. Dr. Salcedo and I will be here just at your service, just to address whatever you have in your minds, okay? So let's go for it. If you want to know a little more about me, this is my personal website, transgeniclearning.com. You can find there a number of papers and a number of things related, as well as my track record working with various universities across the world, in China, Malaysia, United Kingdom, and other places. I think that the most interesting part is that there are references, full references for outputs related to technology and education, which is my main research topic, okay? So you can go there and find this type of books about educational technology and varieties of that, for instance, MOOCs, games, competence frameworks, a number of things, okay, in Africa, Latin America, and other places, in China. And also you can find a number of open books and open resources. This means open access is one of the topics that we will talk today, okay, open access. Half of the things that I produce are open access, okay? I produce it for free. I don't charge anything, and I offer for free because I think that this is part of what we should do as part of the university. Not everything is about being charged by a fee. It's always a part of the educational vocation to work for the community. So you can find there a number of these things, papers, books. For instance, the one on the left is very much focused on the topic of today, not related to to artificial intelligence, but to the open education and open science topic. And the two on the right are books that we produced during the pandemic to help the transition between face-to-face universities to online universities, because many universities around the world were a little I don't know, distracted. The pandemic caught off guard many people, and yet they had the commitment to keep the service to the students and don't interrupt and disturb any sort of learning flow. Okay, so we had, I don't know, around 100 courses for 2 years, helping people to help transition in that. And out of this experience, we produced 2 books, one focused on functional diversity, another one focused on open educational practices, which we can discuss later further if you want. Okay, I'm going to close that so you can see better. I think this is better. And
You want me to
there
close
is
this?
another window, if you don't mind, so they can also see the top. That's okay, good. So about I will skip this, sorry, not interested. About artificial intelligence. What about artificial intelligence? When we talk about artificial intelligence, when I discuss this with many people around the world, many courses, many of the people that come to the talks think of this, okay? Think of Terminator taking over the world and addressing and just implanting chips in our brains and blah, blah, blah. We are not far from that, of course, because we have Elon Musk making all these type of things all the time. But this is just one sort of artificial intelligence. It's not the more realistic one, and it's not the one most helpful for us, okay? There are other types of artificial intelligence, for instance, Star Wars and all the Sega with the 9 movies, or well, the 3 movies, the real movies, and the other 6 that are really lame. And we can also talk about a number of things. For instance, when I say artificial intelligence, we need to think that it's not far beyond from just pure analytics. That's it. Artificial intelligence is taking data and making sense out of that. So it's a huge Excel sheet, okay, with a lot of data and how to find the patterns in those data just to produce something. Could be just analysis, could be a prediction, could be another way of talking, could be another thing, okay? So to do that, we need to provide a very thorough analysis of what we actually want to search and find. For instance, we need to have a clear objective, as you can see there on the screen, for what I'm actually working on artificial intelligence, because maybe it's not needed. We think that now ChatGPT is crazy, okay, but it's useful for some things, not for everything. So maybe I don't need that artificial intelligence, even when now it's sexy and trendy. And if you add AI as a surname to anything, for instance, haircutting, AI based, and just charge you $10 extra, because it's a monetary issue. It's just a way to monetize a new trending buzzword. That's it, okay? So we need to be very careful if this actually required or not, okay? So the objective is the first, what I need, whatever, AI or whatever, for. The second thing is the target public. Maybe not everyone needs AI. Maybe not everyone understands AI. Third one is the sample. How much? Are we talking about 50 people? We don't need AI. We just need to talk one-on-one, I think. I think it's more human and it's more direct, okay? We're talking about 50 million. Maybe we need something that make an algorithm or some sort of a semi-automatic process to help manage that amount of people, okay? About the profile, from where, this is very important. The sample is the definition of the sample, okay? We need to say it's about 28 years, it's about 48 years. It's just for my mom, who is 88 years. What do I need AI to talk to my mom for? She will not understand, because it's very difficult just to do the transition and digital gap using the smartphone, and the WhatsApp is enough. So if I put something on top of that and say, and now you have a trending puppet that will talk to you, and I say, come on. I know Alexia that they say, I want to sing that song, and sings the song with her. That's it. And it's top technology for her. So maybe if we address the sample properly, we will know better if we actually need the tool or not, okay? In this case, the tool means AI. And also the type of reports. What do I want? I expect that when I use this AI-based tool, I get a full report ready to submit to my boss for quality control. Should I get a new sculpture? Should I get a new song? Should I get an edited video? A new movie by Tom Cruise, running, of course. He runs in every movie. What should I do, okay? And the point is, what do I want to get in exchange? What it will be the output, the outcome of all this, okay? The last one is the interaction. Maybe if I just want to have a black box like this, okay, I have the black box, and I give here the question, and he gives me the black box output here, the answer. and this is completely black box, and I don't know what is inside. This is very common concept in computer science since 100 years ago, okay? Maybe I don't need the AI for anything. I need something that helps me thinking, that helps me the analog thinking, my thinking to be better, to be further, to be something, okay? Not just to be just a blind request of something just to give me an output outside. If what I want is that, and the interaction level is just to push a button and get something in return, this is called a vendor machine, okay? I go there and I grab my bottle of water, and by the way, the vendor machine is also AI-based. It's called an expert system. It's one of the very basic AI algorithms run like 50 years ago, approximately, okay? Because AI is not new, as you know. It's been running for 70 years. So what I need is, first thing, clustering. The second, about the clustering is very important to know the individual goals, the technical background, personal profile. The more, the better, the more, the better about the sample that I'm going to use, okay? This is very important. If there never enough data to cluster people, never, okay? If you think that you will be comfortable enough just with the age, the race, the gender, you are a fool. You need everything. You need the social interaction in social networks. You need how many times that person makes that click in that specific image, that specific window just to pop up, how long that pop-up will be there, how many times is the interaction between the pop-ups. You need everything, because in fact, you don't need to characterize people. What you need to do actually is analyze the behavior, because everything in AI is very much based not just in the description of the people, but in how they actually behave and interact with the system and between them, okay? So the more, the better. So an example, let's go to be practical. This is the Shanghai subway. I think that many people think that AI started with ChatGPT, which is false, of course. But before ChatGPT, there was a ChatGPT in China. Please come in, Angel. In Shanghai, 2018, before the pandemic. So 5-6 years ago, they installed 2,000 cameras. Now it is around 200,000 cameras, okay, in every subway in China, just for biometrics, facial recognition. So you go there, and the minute that you step into the subway, they take your picture and they make the biometrics and say, this is Daniel, okay, because he's already pre-registered, because I went through the custom and border control, and the police took me, the equivalent to the police, took me the picture, and I also have my passport, which is also biometric based. So I'm completely there, okay? I'm booked completely, okay? So every time that I go to the metro, I say, hey, Daniel, you took line 4, and later you left the line 3, and later you changed in line 1. But it's not that just. It's that they follow me in every single step of the way, because they have all these cameras and they make all the tracking of my experience inside the metro. Why? Because what they call the citizen ID. The citizen ID is a sort of driving license, okay? Where you have a number of points and you need to score. You start with 15 points. I don't know how many. I don't know. I don't care. 15. And every time that you do something that is uncivic, for instance, spitting on the ground, which is very common in China, okay? They like spitting very loud, and so wow, they wash them out, and spit there is very unpleasant. They say 1 point less, because this is not really polite, okay? If they push a person, 1 point less. If a pregnant woman wants to sit down and I don't allow that, and I don't really offer my seat, this is really unpolite, 2 point less. So at the end of the day, this guy started with 15, and after a month, maybe he got 8, okay? This is very bad, because in fact, it's a big brother just following everyone there, okay? And this is very much focused on AI. What is useful for? Because becoming a best citizen allows you to get better loans. For instance, if you go to a bank to ask for money, and you go there and request a loan, and they say, oh, what is your index? Your index on citizenship is around 68. So instead of 100, you will get just 60, because you are not reliable enough to be a citizen to get it back. This started like 10 years ago, and this was installed in 2018. So it's not new, and this is very much AI-based, okay? This is also happening in my country, in Spain. I come from Spain. This is Aeropuerto de Madrid, okay, in Barajas. It's exactly the same. You have now it's optional. You have the green the sign there say facial recognition. You can go through the control and they don't request your passport, just the facial recognition. This is optional. But last year I was in Atlanta and the only way to get on board was through facial recognition. They didn't accept your passport. I try. I was there a little upset because I say, well, what the fuck, sorry, but I said that. And I say, oh, well, this is my passport. This is me. This is my boarding pass. Please, I want to get in. No way. You have to go through the camera. It's the only way to get on board. So it's not happening just in China, which is very controlling system. It's happening everywhere in Europe and also here in the States, okay? And also in Moscow, this is a news in Spanish, but I hope that you understand, you know, I can tell you, it's exactly the same process with the cameras, but on the streets. So they can get also the facial recognition. It's theoretically is for our safety because some bad guy, but yeah, but it's also taking your picture. If you're a good guy, he's also taking your picture, okay? It's also there. So maybe I think the distinction between the bad guy and the good guy is something blurred where the AI usually fails. Why? Because the biometrics they all look pretty similar, but they are not. And it depends very much if I wear the beard or if I am just saved, or if I am with a tan, or I have my long hair, or if I wear a hat, or I don't know. There are many things that are completely different, but the iris, okay? And so far, they don't get your iris so far, okay? But they will, because in fact, there is a huge project just getting iris from people. Have you seen, I saw yesterday, I was walking on the street and there is a place, maybe by the pier, I don't remember right now, where they take the picture of iris and make a huge canvas. Have you seen that? Printed in crystal, in glass? It's there, it's in every city you can get that. This goes to a centralized data base with your iris and your ID biometrics. The iris is the only thing that is not actually fakeable, okay? But it will come. It's not coming now, but it will come, okay? It will arrive sometime sooner than later. But the biometrics can fail, okay? At the end, you have a sort of inputs coming from physical devices and coming from the grades of your hair, the grades of the shades of your face, a number of things, okay? It's not actually a print, it's just the interpretation of the image, and they give you a number of inputs there that can be reliable or not in a specific index, okay? If it's about 90%, it's okay. If it's below 40, it's not okay, and it doesn't matter of thing. In fact, again, data and process data, okay? You can have this, all this, also this for AI-based example. This is a self-automatic driven car, which a girl that needs to be without the, she's not buckled up, I think, or I'm not sure, so it's unsafe. And also at the same time, it's not driving, but at the same time, she's looking very uncomfortably like this, okay, so blindly, just to prove that the car is wise enough just not to crash both of them, okay? This is happening, you know, all the tests that happened 2 or 3 years ago with a number of crashes about the self-automatic driving, but well, we're coming back, okay? It's part of the thing. You have here the how do you call the subway when it's in there? There's subway up, well, whatever it's called, okay? That is automatic. What is it called? That one, the one that is automatic, okay? The electric one that goes through the, okay, that one. So it's exactly the same, very similar. That is very simple. Also happens exactly the same with the specific small wagons that go from one terminal to another in the airport. Okay, it's happening there. We are getting there. It's not still on the open roads, but it will get, okay, as long as the regulation arrives first. Exactly the same with another example. This is how it works. You have a number of cameras around the car, and the cameras are getting all the impulses, like a radar, okay, or a sonar, and they're getting all what is happening around, and they have a chip. The chip that you got there just up front is the actual AI-based process on how to get all the images and the videos and to interpret what is doable or not, okay? And what is the problem about this? The bias. The problem is the bias, because the point is I have a lot of data and I have to find patterns. Who defines those patterns? Who defines what is the threshold admissible to say that someone can go or not go, can get a loan or cannot get a loan, or that it's me or it's someone just like me, but not it's me actually? Who decides that? Is the algorithm, is the data, and it's also the programming and the coding of all that. All those criteria just coded in an informatic way, okay? So the bias comes from the data because the collection of the data are important. For instance, in the United Kingdom, you go and register into the university, they request your gender, your religion, your, and it was completely outrageous. Say, come on, is that possible? In my country, please come in. In my country, you cannot ask anyone for gender. You cannot ask anyone specifically for political position and religion. It's not possible. But there is different because they have this positive discrimination about a number of religions because of the colonization. So they have the quotas. And for instance, the Sikh religion, the guys with the turban here, it's called turban in English, I don't know, well, on the cover head, and they have one quota there. So in every executive board, they have to have one guy for that religion. So the religion, in fact, is not for bias in contra, but pro, okay? But still, it's a discrimination, positive, but it's a discrimination, okay? So the point is the bias comes from the data, from the analysis of those data, and who programmed that, who designed all that, okay? And it's very simple because there are a number of things that can be done through the process of all the data, thanks to the basic definition of what is selecting and why is selecting those specific patterns, okay? There is a program called Sherlock, which helps solving crimes. It's happening for the last 6 years or so, 2017, 2019, I don't know, okay? And it takes all the data that comes from international crime and make cross references between them for things that the human eye couldn't see. So one example is that about human trafficking, okay? They were just cross-referencing data from Romania, Colombia, Ulaanbaatar, and Madrid, my country, for instance, and they put all that together and a dashboard to say high probability of getting this guy as head of the plot just about human trafficking, and where is the guy and how can we get it, and there is an access for the police force just to go there and act on the data that is there, and those things are happening because of the definition. Data is one thing, the collection. The second thing is the definition of those data. Another example to use AI is this smart farming, okay, where you can get through sensors if that soil needs water or sulfites or any type of vitamins or whatever. So do you need to actually to water the plants? You need to water the specific plants with a specific amount of water. This is very useful because, for instance, I don't know, you drink wine, I guess. You are old enough to drink wine, I guess. Sorry, it's a joke. I'm old. So drink wine. Every bottle of wine. My country is a wine producer. Here, there are a number of valleys as a wine producer. Every wine, every bottle of wine uses 500 liters of water. 500 liters of water. So if I can save, because I don't need to water those vineyards, because it's not needed, because I did it just because it's the regular thing, but the actual soil didn't need it, I can save a lot of water. It's not just for the money issues, also for the green aspect of all of it, okay? So there are a number of things that happen also around. I will skip this because I'm giving a lot of examples. This one here, okay? Yeah, I don't like that. The next one. I think that you all could track this when the pandemic came, okay, from the Johns Hopkins. I don't know how to say that, sorry. My English is not that good. This is not AI-based, but it's data-based, massive data-based, okay? Real-time, in theory, based on the actual reported cases, not the actual happening cases. In many countries didn't report the cases. So it's not the real picture. It's the real picture of the data, the collected data, okay? And this is exactly the same message that I'm trying to give you. It depends very much on the data you've got. You have to take decisions based on what you know right now. But if you don't collect enough data, you will be taking misguiding decisions, like in real life, like any mother will tell you when you do something that they don't like, of course. So about data, a little of basics about analytics. I don't know if you know that. People focus, how many of you are working here on computer science or something similar? Data analytics, business intelligence, something like that?
MBA.
Any of you?
No MBA students here.
MBA?
Yeah,
okay,
maybe
this will be
online.
very good for you also, because many of the decisions that are made right now about stock exchange, for instance, is based on that, okay? Business intelligence that you will use for sure is based on that, okay? So there are 3 types usually of layers when we talk about artificial intelligence. The first one is the analysis, what is called descriptive, okay? What is there? in fact, it's not artificial intelligence. It's you read it and you get the same conclusion. The point is that instead of having 10 pages, you have 10 million pages, you cannot read it. So you need something to help you read everything that and process at the same time. So this is the descriptive part. The second one is the predictive. Once you have the data, what will happen in the future? Okay, this is more interesting because you have the evolution of any stock in the stock market and you say, okay, I should bet my money here or not, because maybe tomorrow the stock value goes up or maybe goes down and I lose money or I get money. This is more interesting. And this is happening in stock markets, in defense, in weather, in a number of things. And it will happen here in education too, okay? And the third one is what I do, the prescriptive part, okay? What should I do? This is pretty simple. Like going to tomorrow, today there was a storm, okay? So yesterday I got the weather forecast and say, what will happen tomorrow in the morning? It will be raining. But I don't know for sure that it will be raining because it's not tomorrow yet, okay? It's the data from today. I will get estimation for the estimate for tomorrow with a probability rate of 98%, okay? You have the descriptive, you have the predictive, and tomorrow I will get my umbrella just not to get wet. And this is the prescriptive part. Maybe sometimes the prescription is doing nothing, like the placebo, okay? Because sometimes the placebo is enough just to model behavior, mainly for people, but mostly for groups of people, okay? This is one of the things that mass media do all the time with elections. For instance, now you have the Super Tuesday yesterday, blah, blah, and these type of things. All the media and all the social networks and the messages and the WhatsApp, it's happening with the Brexit, with the United Kingdom, it's happening in Russia, it's happening in my country, it happened, okay? All this way to behave and to model the behavior of groups is based on all this data and how the prediction will be about, I don't know, the intention to vote. And this will be a prediction. And based on that, someone takes a decision just to drop and some news about some scandal that is addressing one of the contenders. I don't know. I know, but I don't want to know. So the point is that this is happening all the time, every time, okay? So when we talk about this, I can picture the artificial intelligence like a cake, okay? Really the first layer is very much focused on the student. The second one is focused on the professors and the lecturers. The third one is focused on the academic staff. And the last one is the automatic process. So this is a cake, okay? You can find aside close to every single category, student, peer network, professors, the types of things that we can do. For instance, I will go a little further. AI can support you as a student with what? Personalization. It would be really great if you have a syllabus and you don't need to select what comes next. The core, the subject, the module, the PDF to read, whatever. You have a companion, you have a virtual assistant that tells you, advises you about what you need to do just to get, I don't know, better content, better knowledge, better performance, better competence, better whatever, okay? This is what is called personalized learning itineraries, okay? And this is happening thanks to artificial intelligence. If you go to support to academic, this is very interesting. I am a teacher here, I'm a professor here, and suddenly I have 1,000 students. How can I give you personalized attention, feedback to 1,000 students in time? It will take me to Christmas. What I need is a semi-automatic process that helps me processing the first steps of your assignments. When the dashboard comes to me, the 60, 70, 80% of all the process is done by the machine. That is set up by me, okay? So I need to decide the criteria, the thresholds, the clustering. I need to know how this works. At the end, it will be just dragging and dropping, but I need to know and understand the basics and the theoreticals behind that, okay? So you can use it in your MBA. The third one is about support to administrative staff. Very interesting here, the dropout, okay? How many people will leave before ending everything, okay? And finishing the master, the MBA, whatever. This is very important because it depends on how many people stay, how many people I have to hire just to give you a lecture, for instance. If half of the people drops out, I need half of the staff. So I will save money. From the administrative point of view, I will save resources. This is also important. And the last one is about the economic committees, okay? The conversion rate, for instance, ratio, this is one of the most interesting part. Every people that come and send an interest to get registered, how many people are actually getting registered? Because depending on that, I will know how successful the recruitment process will be and the registration process, and how much money I can put in a specific campaign through WhatsApp, through a newspaper, through just mouth to ear, whatever, okay? This is very interesting from the economic point of view because I can save resources, I can save money, I can save time and address the people, my target people better. So as you see, all this AI focus on education is to many layers. It's not just to students, just to professors, it can go also to academic staff and also to administrative staff. If you were underage, also to your parents. It can go to give them specific reports about how you perform, I don't know, the last week. And this can be based on what will happen in the future. For instance, like this. The green is the best, the blue is you, the red is the worst. And based on what you are doing, the blue, green, and red are based on what the other people are doing, the group. So you have the average and you are just in between. If you want to improve and meet your group, you need to raise up your stakes there, okay? This is a little more specific. When you go to through the three colors, again, you have the yellow, the orange, and the blue, and the dot line is the prediction on when you will get, when you finish your program, okay? So if you do whatever you are doing right now, at the end, you will get like an average like that, okay? This is a prediction model to help the professor to support you better, because based on that can guide better and they can give you a specific support for the things that they are lacking in the process, in the knowledge, in the attitude, in anything, okay? All the things that came from this dashboard, sorry, this one is a little, yeah, no, this is not. One moment, it's taking some time. Let's go there, okay. You can see this, all this comes from databases. This is a very simple one, but databases like that, okay? With 3 decimals, very important to be accurate, a lot of data. You take the data and make some things like this, which is a graphical design so everyone can understand. So message to you, MBA, are you a maths geek and you like very much maths? Okay, that's very nice. You will understand it better. Do you need it? No, at all. This is a graphical design. You drag, drop, you just type your criteria and you get your colors and you change the colors of your chart. Doesn't matter. It's like Excel sheet. In the beginning, when the Excel sheets started, all these, I don't know if you remember from IBM, the first Excel sheet was not Excel. By the way, it was called Lotus 123, okay, from IBM. And I was there. Again, I was using everything black and white or green and black or whatever. I was there using that. And you had to be really, I don't know, really focused to use it because it was really a challenge. Now nobody actually understands that because everything is just drag and drop, and if you want to make an average drag and drop, that's it, and you have the pivot table, the table, how do you call that? Tabla pivote table, the pivot table. Pivot table is table in English, sorry, I don't know. And you drag and drop, and suddenly you have a report in front of you. That before that you, I don't know how many times, okay? So now it will be exactly the same. You need to use it. You need to understand how it's built and how to use it. That's it. You don't need actually to know farther than that, okay, coming from your economics and management background, okay? This is another example based on colors. More simple than that is impossible. The darker, the more accurate. And this is exactly the same. This is a group like you, okay, 50 people, and we cluster people. Blue is the best, red is the worst. It's in Spanish, but I hope that you understand the colors. Pretty simple. So blue the best, red the worst. And if I want to know a little more, I say, well, my class is not doing bad. Like 70% of the people are doing great. And I have like a 10% there that is not doing great. So, well, I don't care. They need to push further, okay? But if I want to know a little more, I push into the blue and I get a second graph like this one, that one. It's taking some time to react. That is the actual distribution of every single person in the group clustered by colors. And the darker, the more probable will be, likely will be just to get the score that you can see on top on the column. For instance, in the first one, which is called Byron Ortiz, I think, the darker blue there is between 5 and 6. This is not the current score. It will be the final grade if we follow the historical progress of the people in the group and the groups behind him. Okay? This is the point. It's how to get the future without knowing the future, of course, but based on all the data and the analysis there. It's very simple. You do it every time with the weather, as I said before. But now with education, you are talking to people, and maybe it's a little more unpredictable, okay? This is coming Mentor, which is very nice. In fact, it's a recommending system. This is also AI-based. The recommending system is that you get all your 10 topics for the syllabus, but maybe you know topic 2 and topic 7. So you don't need actually to go through topics 2 and 7 again. And you lack knowledge for topic 3. And the recommender tells you that, tells you, please skip topic 2 and topic 7 and go an extra mile for topic 3 or 5 or whatever, okay? This is the recommendation. And it gives you just pictures based on the dates. What you can find here, it's actually a time and date stamps. And it gives you just the accurate picture of how you are based on those time stamps. And you can see the progress on your itinerary, okay? More information, the red is where you are, the blue where you should be, usually behind something because you should do something better. So just closing. The closing is pretty simple. We are talking about AI and education, okay? And I don't care at all because AI is another tool. Before AI was, I don't know, the digital book. And before that was the internet. And before that were, I don't know, you don't remember because you were not there, but there were other things, okay? Computers, okay? And there are always some breakthroughs. Topic about technology, which usually is a business approach just to get more money out of people, okay? Because this is very difficult. I'm a wizard, you don't know, I charge you double, okay? This is the usual thing. But when things just settle down a little and all the pop that you have is right, normal, and you settle down, you can get to use this in a very simple thing. And it's only useful as long as it serves the purpose. And the purpose in education, it's not a tool. I don't care about if you are using Tableau or you are using ChatGPT. What cares if you learn or you don't? If you learn and get the competencies to go to the labor market and kill it, that's good. If you don't get it, I don't mind if it's flashy at all, okay? So the point is the instructional design. The point is the methodology. The point is the content. All the content, all the knowledge, all the relations, the interaction, and the thinking that you can have there, this is what actually matters. The other things that are colorful things like an area, which is not the actual focus for that. So you require a model, something like this, very simple, where you can get all together the system, the providers, the users, and if you are using the criteria for personal decision, for knowledge, for behavior, you need a model. When you design focused on business, you need the model. You are the model designer. You don't need to program, you need to code, you don't need even to touch the computer. You get the paper like this and write the model and give it to the technician. The technician will do whatever they want, okay? So you need to think, you need to be the brain. Okay, you need to, and for the doctors, it's the same. People that actually build the cars are not the people who drive the car. Okay, so it's different, two different things. So you need to understand the game to play the game on your favor. Okay, this is the most important part, and this is the model. You need to be the model designer. So at the end, that you create something like this, Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvio Man. Okay, it's the perfection, the proportion, blah 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 blah. It's a model. You need that model. Very important. Okay, so I will skip this, or this is too much. So a couple of messages. The first one, AI can be a big help, okay? But you need to give your brain. It's not a replacement of anything. Everything should be, I think, at most, semi-automatic. So whatever you push the button, it gives you something to think, and you take the decision. AI cannot take the decision for you. Very important, okay? This is what is called analog thinking. So us, okay? Analog thinking is a beautiful word, but in fact it's us, our brain. The second thing, don't forget that this is about people. So if any of that doesn't help people, we just that's it. Very simple, as simple as that. And nowadays, with all this thing about the pandemics and the isolation and all the process that we went through, most of the people lack a little of human touch, okay? So the psycho-emotional support in education is half of the process. It's not 20% of the process. It's half of the process, in my view, for students, for professors, and for academic managers, okay? Because when you work in a hybrid mode and you are working at home and you come here now and then, and when you work from online only and you are there, maybe you are, I don't know, in a city in the middle of I don't know where, and you feel isolated, you feel alone. Yeah, but the professor too. It's exactly the same, okay? It's a different, it's professional. He's getting paid and you're paid. It's a different, you are paid. It's a different approach, okay? But still, he's a human being. So when he needs to process 400 people alone in the kitchen because there is no room just to work for that, and he's in the middle of I don't know where in the countryside, exactly the same happens to him, okay? So in every single layer, from the director to the freshman, whoever, you have to go there, okay? And the psycho-emotional support is as important as the actual learning process. So, final motto, the artificial intelligence and learning analytics are a key to support education, along with the instructional design, and as long as there is human touch. If there is not happening that, AI doesn't work. It's not useful for us. Thank you, and I will take in any question from yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Burgos. For students that are joining us online, you can either click your microphone to do the question, or just type it on the chat box. And students from here that are joining us live, you can raise your hand and ask us.
I have a question.
You cannot. It's for them.
We can use artificial intelligence to make predictions. Will you dare to say that future can be changed?
Future can be changed. Yeah, but without the AI too. Okay, it depends on us.
Because you know more or less how are the results going to be, and you don't like that results, you can change now things to change.
You can work on those and hope that things will change, but in some things you cannot. The weather, what can you do? Bombing the clouds like the Chinese, that's very nice, but if you bomb a cloud just to get rain, just because it's useful for, I don't know, watering the vineyards, okay, because they are lacking water, something will happen on the other side, you know, the butterfly effect, something will happen on the other side of the world. So some things you can change. I'm completely sure about education. You can change about education. You can change about physical training. If you don't like your body, just work harder. That's it, okay? Well, little simplistic way, but this is the point. But many things are completely out of our reach, and you cannot change those. So half. Okay. Thank you, Gloria. Any question? Please raise your hand. Give me something. It will be boring if not.
It can be also an opinion, just an experience related to this.
You can ask in English, in Spanish.
I was thinking about the question, and if you don't define the structure that you will use for a prediction, you didn't change anything. But if you work in this kind of frame, you can handle of other position the ID at the same time. It's the same as the weather. The weather doesn't change it like because of the weather.
Yes.
But the same for the personality of of people. All time change. But if you have a prediction before, you can know how to handle these kind of things.
I fully agree. I have to tell you one thing. You are MBA people, you will work on, I don't know, in a bank, for instance, okay? Or for politicians, or I don't know where. You will be successful and you will get a very nice job and very nice salary. Everything will be, your dreams will come true if you work, okay? And if you pass the MBA, if you don't pass, nothing will happen. So the point is that you can do all that, and you can work further when you get all the data for your reports and for your analysis, and you advise someone, a politician, the CEO, whoever, or you are your own CEO because you are an entrepreneur and you, I don't know, create a startup and you create your business, and that's okay. So you report to yourself and you to your fellow co-founders, whatever, and you have all that, okay? And in my experience, I've been in this business for a long time, okay? I started teaching when I was 14 years old, so it's 40 years from now, okay? The point is, if you work with the data that you have right now at hand, you are late. You need anticipation. You need to know, or at least to guess what will happen tomorrow in 1 hour. If you don't do that, you will be completely behind schedule, behind your competitors, behind your everything. In business, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. If you are selling what is being sold right now, you are completely behind the others. Someone will be smarter, faster, larger, stronger, I don't know, better funded than you. You need to go a little further and take a leap of faith, and maybe you get wrong and you fail, okay? But you took the risk. If you don't take it, you will be just another guy in the group. That's it, okay? It's something to think about, but it's not just based on AI. AI gives you another insight, more colorful, with better graphs and the diagrams and the colors and the data and it's very nice. It's very nice. It's a very nice tool. Okay, but it's also common sense. Just reading the signs, what is happening in the market. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. I think we have questions from Karim and Diego.
I can stop this. So we
Yes.
can.
Hi,
Yes.
good evening.
Yes, Karim, go ahead.
Yes, I'm from Belize. Thank you for allowing me to join. So I had just a comment. I use AI in my job a lot, doing digital marketing. And sorry for the background noise. And I just wanted to know what is allowed basically for school, because I use AI to a certain extent, but especially with certain subjects like math, I kind of just prefer doing it pen to paper. So how would you recommend using AI in to help us with, you know, activities, forums? What's the best way you'd recommend us using it?
Thank you for your question from Belize. This is a tricky question. I don't know what to say without compromising the university, but I will say as a professor, okay? I'm also a professor. I will take as a professor, not as a president of the university. In my view, all these AI tools that you can use, ChatGPT and the DALL-E and all these things to create images, videos. The other day some people were cloning my voice with one tool called Rask AI. They clone your voice and they make you talk in Japanese with your image and everything, like a puppet. It was interesting, scary a little, but it's impersonation, pure and simple impersonation. I'm completely sure that in 1 year time we'll have in the Oscar award ceremony one movie that is just made with AI, taking pictures from here, from there, whatever. It will be part of the show, okay, because this is a show and we need to sell it, okay. But things are going so fast that it's very common that things will happen, okay. When you say you talk to your relatives who died 10 years ago, and I say, well, very interesting, very creepy. At the same time, you take a sample like John Lennon now singing the new song from the Beatles, #1, and I don't know which we will bore, and you say, okay, very nice, but it's not John Lennon. It's John Lennon, but it's not John Lennon. You have the hologram of Elvis dancing, I say, okay, but that hologram is not Elvis. So you need to find a way just to make sense out of all that, okay? So the question from your colleague is, and what about this in education? Exactly the same. You need to make sense out of all the possibilities that you got. And the point is that you have a number of tools. You had forever a number of tools. Victor Hugo never wrote Les Miserables. He used a copyright, a ghostwrite. That's it. And it's very common. And this is well known. And the attribution was to Victor Hugo, but in fact, he never wrote it. So it happened 200 years ago. Okay, 200, I don't know right now, maybe it's a little more, but well, anyway, a lot. And now we have ChatGPT and we can do exactly the same. Please write Les Miserables pour moi. Okay. And suddenly I have the novel in front of me and I need just to polish and that's it, and it's mine. So the point is that it's something that is been happening, I think, the whole life in history, and now we have better tools to do that. The actual result there, the actual criteria there is us. We are the ethical barrier. If we want to use it and we want to cheat, we will cheat anyway. Because we have first a repository where you could drop and drag and take someone else's essay about a topic and you just replace the name and you submit it like yourself, and there was no anti-plagiarism engine just to check it, and suddenly, bam, Turnitin. You know Turnitin? The Turnitin engine, you upload, I don't know, a file, and they tell you how probably it is that you are cheating, and the sources, and the colors, and the percentage, and it's really a very, if you calibrate, do the right calibration, it's a very nice tool, okay? And now you will have something called ChatGPT or any of the other OpenAI and AI-based tools that you can use to support your creativity, to support your production, to support your performing. Okay, that's very nice. So I will impersonate myself, giving a task to my own puppet there, AI puppet, to say, do something for me because I'm not able to do it. And I will take the credit for something that I didn't do. I was smart enough to cheat myself. And I now need to impersonate my work and give it to someone else. And the attribution is completely misled. Can I do it? Yes. Should I do it? It's completely up to you. It's up to your standards and your ethical statement, okay? Completely up to you. It's possible. The minute that you do that, I'm really sure that there will be another tool just to assess the probability that everything is not actually yours, okay? So you tell me, how can we use that? How should we use it? In a sensible way. It depends completely on your standards. If it's just to break the blank page of the writer and you need inspiration, okay? And maybe you can also cite that you use ChatGPT for that paragraph. That's also okay. It depends very much, but it's completely up to you how you want to use it. It's another tool. And even worse, you cannot fight against that because it's just taking over all the processes in a number of markets, okay? So we need to live with that based on what we actually want to take from that, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Burgos. Yes, Mr. Diego Avelia.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Burgos, for sharing this knowledge with us. My question is because a couple of days ago, I was checking one article saying that China has generated more intellectual and scientific documentation than the United States. And some people say that that's generated using AI. So my question for you is, do you think that that's a good quality output, considering that they are using a lot of AI for those papers and that scientific production?
I don't know. I write papers all the time. I'm a heavy publisher. I publish every 2 weeks. So I'm writing all the time. I was writing this morning for hours. So you need to put some effort there. So every time that you write a paper, scientific one, usually takes 6, 8 months, sometimes 18 months, just to having the paper already produced and also produced, I mean, written, and also the submission process, the review process, and the actual production, I mean, in the editing part. And when you finally got it online, maybe it took like 18 months, okay? So it's really something persistent. You have to be, I don't know, it takes a lot of energy, okay? A lot of energy and time, a lot of frustration, because many times they reject the paper after 6 months of revision and they don't like it anymore. So any shortcut to that, of course, it pisses me off. You need to work on that. The point is that, can you use some help, for instance, to write a state of the art, a review of the literature, okay, for instance, so the current state of the literature? Can you use AI? My point is, why not? If you use it as an inspiration again, and you can double check, and it saves you some time, it's not that difficult, that's different to using a word processor. In the beginning, you wrote and everything was mistakes, full of mistakes. And now every time that you write, you can have all the correction in the meantime, in the moment, live, okay, real time. And they say, no, this word is not like that. It's a double S, it's a simple S, and take away of the H. And this is cheating. No, it's a supporter, it's a help to you, okay? So there might be some limit there. If everything is done automatically and you give it for good, maybe you are getting everything wrong, not just the outcome, but also the process. But if the tool can help you take better decisions or can find additional references that you couldn't find in the beginning, and you can use that, as long as you are aware that this is the process and that you got help and that you make the right reference, why not? It's another helper.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Diego.
We have another question from
You wanted to
Berta.
ask something?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think that it could be like, because this is all about like data, like about numbers, and that is like most of the information that the AI can take, because it cannot take emotion. How much you think that the emotions and as a human being are included in all this data, or you think that that is going to depend on the person that is reading all this information?
Very nice question. Thank you. What's your name?
Tanya.
Tanya. Nice to meet you, Tanya. Do you think that the love is based in chemistry? Chemical components, I mean, not chemistry between two people. Chemical components, endorphins, serotonin, this type of things.
Yeah, and also I think that emotions and things are involved, like in how you, well, what is your performance when you're studying and you're doing all of things. So of course you said that it's predicted and it's not exactly, but in certain point, like it's not included all like things as a person that it could happen.
Yeah. The point to me is that if you take something that can be measured, can be predicted.
Mm.
If you turn anything into a number, you can predict it. So if you think that love is based on emotions, and those emotions are based on chemistry, and those chemistry is just a number of how high the level is up
Depends
or
on
down.
how we formulated the law, and the law is also made by the society. So everything is related at the end.
Do you think that when you talk, when you use, if you use any match making tool like Tinder or whatever it is, all these data that people take just to get the perfect match between two people are based on information that you give, that you pretend to have, because in fact it's not the actual information. You say, I'm 6'2", okay, I'm not, I'm 5'7", and I'm brown, well, that you are not, and I'm 50, well, you're 60, okay, so you're pretending to be another person, a little, you know, better in a way, a different shape. But anyway, some factual information, even when it's not completely accurate, okay? And make a match with another people, another guy, and you make that people. So you have all these two profiles and get the match based on those informations, okay? This is not AI, but there is a reasoning behind coding that gets the match between the probability just to get the actual winning lottery ticket for the two people, okay? That's okay. On that, you can add another layer based on the emotions.
But you can like have data as an part of the intelligence, as a part of like quantificating emotions.
Completely sure that you can.
Yeah.
In my view, okay, completely sure that you can. You can say how happy a person is, or how painful that person is, or how bad the grieving was. And the point is that usually when you think about that, you are in the process. You are completely blurred by the feeling, okay? You have to be outside the process, and someone who is not personally involved can actually take a cold view of the data of that. But I fully support that, yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. There was a hand there by you.
Yeah. We're in a country of alternative facts, misguided information, misguided data. Do you think at some point that will affect the results that you get from AI? For example, some people no longer identify as what we were talking about before, as either male or female. So the ratio could be wrong based on gender, or the criminal information is incorrect because someone is identified as white instead of being Black or Hispanic. Do you see that becoming an issue in the result from AI when it generates it? Because it's really based on data, am I correct?
Yeah, fully agree. A huge risk. In fact, it's something that we cannot solve right now, okay? But it's happening also with the media. It's not just AI, okay? Think of the newspaper. You get the information from the newspaper. Right. Usually the newspaper are not producing the news, are just getting the news from an agency like Reuters, for instance. So, okay, and you get that information and you go to every single newspaper and you see the same news there with a different twist. See if it is from the elephant or from the donkey, and you have different things, okay? But in fact, it's the same news, okay? It's happening. It's not just for the AI based. So the bias is coming from the source. The bias is coming from the selection of the news that you are getting into the newspaper. In the terms of AI, it happens exactly the same. The accuracy is what is called the robustness of the database, okay? Is very important. You have to have solid, verifiable data. If you don't have it, whatever deduction that you get, it will be wrong. But it happens exactly the same in life when you have to take a decision. You take a decision with your data at hand. And if you are misled for someone that is interested in twisting your arm on whatever thing, you will take the wrong decision thinking that you're taking the right one because the data were actually misleading you. It's exactly the same. With AI, I think it's a little more dangerous even because it's not that just I'm talking to Marisol and we get a misinterpretation of some report, okay? It's not that. You are talking about millions of data providing and just going through the shredder of a definition of the selection criteria and the clustering. So it's not talking about one people, it's talking about millions of references. So the impact can be million-based larger, okay? So it's a problem right now. How can you get that? There are a number of agencies with the double fact finding agencies. I guess that here also in the States, I'm not sure about that. Say you post a news, and they tell you if it's true or not. And you say, okay, and this guy who is telling me if this news is true or not, who is telling me that this guy is telling me if it's true or not? Okay, it's like a red herring, okay, looping the loop all the time. I don't know. This is an unsolved, unresolved issue, a challenge, I think. Yeah, fully agree with you.
Ok, tenemos una pregunta en español. ¿Cuáles son los posibles impactos a largo plazo de AI en la equidad educativa y el acceso a la educación de calidad?
¿Y quién dice esto?
¿Es Ferca?
¿Ferca?
Ujú.
Ok, Ferca. Una muy buena pregunta. ¿Puedo hablar en español y me entendéis también? ¿Sí? ¿Todo bien? Una de las buenas cosas que puede hacer la inteligencia artificial, sin ningún tipo de duda, es si lo juntamos con sorry, I'm answering a question in Spanish, and I'm answering in Spanish because the question was in Spanish. I can make like a summary in English also for the English-speaking people, okay? Don't worry. But I will address first the question in Spanish just as a courtesy to the Spanish speaker question maker, okay?
Ujú.
Entonces, decía, si juntamos la inteligencia artificial con la educación abierta, lo que tenemos es gente utilizando YouTube todo el día, clic, 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 TikTok, clic, clic, ¿vale? No te necesita estar registrado de ninguna manera. Y sin embargo, estás dejando cientos de miles de información. Lo que ves, lo que no ves. Si habéis visto cuando tenéis los shorts de vídeo de YouTube, por ejemplo, te van dando shorts en función de lo que tú estás viendo. Entonces, si acabas el short, dentro de 3 tendrás uno parecido al que estás haciendo y dices, pero ¿cómo es posible que todo vaya sobre gatitos? Si tampoco me gustan tanto. Ya, es que acabaste uno y entonces te pillan y ya tienes uno y entonces te dan otro, ¿vale? Entonces, toda esa información viene de información en abierto que tú estás dando gratis. Cuando hablas de Google, te registra todo. Las pulseras, yo hoy no tengo una, pero tengo una pulserita de estas de que te miden el corazón, que si estás mayor, que tal. Un asco. Siempre me dicen que estoy viejo, gordo, mejor no me la pongo porque me están matando. Entonces, esas, hay muchas. Fitbit, por ejemplo, que es muy conocida, está comprada por Google y también alimenta Google. Entonces, la posibilidad de que crucen datos de este señor está aquí, porque tengo aquí, por supuesto, Google Maps con el tracking, el GPS anotado. Y encima está dando clase, y encima se acaba de excitar, le va a dar un ataque al corazón y mañana tengo una carta diciendo, te vendo un seguro fantástico de vida para que tus hijos no le estén. Pero vamos, o sea, sin ningún tipo de duda. Sin ningún tipo de duda de que esas cosas se pueden hacer. No digo que se hagan, pero que se pueden hacer porque hay que cruzar, ¿no? Entonces, igual que pasa para eso, que es una amenaza, pasa para todo lo contrario, que es lo que está preguntando la compañera online, que es, ¿qué posibilidades tenemos de que la educación llegue a más gente, que sea más equitativa, que sea más inclusiva? Todas. Es fantástico. ¿Por qué? Porque tenemos, aquí somos, ¿cuántos somos? ¿40 o así? ¿O 30? Todos somos distintos, todos aprendemos de distinta manera, tenemos el cuerpo de distinta manera, todos somos distintos, todos aprendemos de una forma distinta. Pero seguramente podamos agruparnos. Esto es normal, se hace clustering. Y entonces hay 4 o 5 que les gusta más imágenes, hay 4 o 5 que son ratitas y van punto 1, punto 2, no me salto el punto 3 porque me lo ha dicho el profesor, punto 3, punto 4, aunque sea aburrido, y otros que empiezan por de abajo arriba y hacen lo que quieren, ¿vale? Entonces, hay 4 o 5 grupitos, siempre hay 4 o 5, y si fuésemos 50.000 personas aprendiendo, hay 4 o 5 grupitos, ¿vale? Es que, o 6, ya está, pero es que es lo que hay, no hay más, ¿verdad? Entonces, podemos personalizar todo eso en función de los grupitos. Personalizar no es individualizar. No es que a cada uno tenga una respuesta, es que a cada perfil, a cada patrón, tenga una forma de comportamiento, una forma de aproximarse, ¿ok? Entonces, cuando hablamos a nivel mundial, dice, ¿qué equitativo puede ser? Total. Simplemente con el hecho de reconocer que hay 4 o 5 grupitos, ya podemos dar 4 o 5 apoyos distintos para que la gente que necesite más apoyo en el idioma lo tenga, la gente que necesita más apoyo en la parte visual, la gente que no sabe de programación y está haciendo, no sé, con el MBA que tenéis, seguro que tenéis que tener alguna asignatura de programación. Y si no, por favor, directora, hace falta una asignatura de programación, porque si no van a comer la tostada, eso se entiende, si no os van a ganar la mano, o solamente salen impresiones raras. Si no, va a haber gente que va a estar más preparada que vosotros a nivel informático y matemático y lo vais a quedar a un nivel de análisis y tenéis que matarlo, y para matarlo hay que saber cómo están las tripas y para eso hace falta programar. Aunque luego no programéis, pero tenéis que entenderlo, es muy importante, ¿vale? Entonces, todo eso se puede hacer perfectamente con la personalización que permite agrupar a la gente para que sea todo más equitativo. Un paso más allá, diversidad funcional. ¿vale? La gente dice, gente con discapacidades, genial. No hace falta ser cojo, manco, ciego o tener una deficiencia auditiva o de cualquier otro tipo, ¿vale? O mental. No hace falta para eso. Diversidad funcional soy yo, tengo gafas, sin gafas no veo nada. Ya está, tengo 50 años, tengo las gafas y arreglado esto, bueno, 50 y alguno, y tengo las gafas y no veo, ¿vale? Pero os va a pasar a todos os va a pasar. Todos vamos a tener algo, o bien con la vista, o bien con el movimiento, o bien mi madre esta mañana hablaba con ella y me decía que ha podido andar desde la silla de ruedas hasta el baño porque tiene 84 años y qué progreso que ha hecho por cada 10 pasos. O sea, nos pasa a todos, absolutamente a todos, ¿vale? ¿Qué pasa con la inteligencia artificial? Que también podemos hacer eso. Que una persona que pueda estudiar porque tiene discapacidad de algún tipo o deficiencia visual o que simplemente tenga presbicia como yo y no vea bien, pues pueda escuchar y poner un podcast y leerlo y entenderlo directamente de una manera más kinestésica. Eso es posible y eso es posible con todo lo que estamos haciendo ahora. Yo creo que es muy bueno. Summary, the question was how AI is really good for equity and inclusive education, and the short answer is yes, it's possible. Next question, please.
Now that's for myself. I think that the university offer access to Turnitin for students to check paper before submitting. Is there any plan to offer this service? Currently, Turnitin is for professors. It's just a source to verify that the student have used correctly any source, including ChatGPT, including books, electronic books, magazine, in a correct form.
So the answer is that we've got it or we don't?
We do have it, but for professors only.
Yeah, with Turnitin, you have to be, you know what Turnitin is, right? It's an engine, you upload your essay and it gives you the probability of how badly you are copy-pasting, inspired, or cheating directly from other sources, okay? Very nice, very useful for professors, because in fact, I don't need, and I will not rely on your work. You are a student, you always lie. It's normal, it's part of the game, I understand, okay? It's when you go to a doctor, the patient always lies. If he says, no, I take it every day, you say, you are not taking for sure for a week at least. So the student is the same, you lie, I don't, and then this is the point, this is the game, we understand the flow, no worries. So I don't need to take your word, I will not take your word, I need to go through a process, if possible, as close as possible, okay? That gives me the report, a call report about if your work, your essay is original or not, and how original the report is. This is called Turnitin. This is one of the engines. There are like a dozen, okay? But Turnitin is very good at that. What's the problem with Turnitin? That Turnitin, everything that you upload a file with a assignment of 10 pages, it goes to a centralized database and it's stored there. So if you write an essay and say version 1 of how democracy implodes in the development countries, whatever, and you write that essay, version 1, and it says, well, it's 30% of plagiarism highly likely detected because of I don't know what. And you have the full report and say, I will work a little further and I will try to cover my tracks. So it's not that obvious that I'm copy pasting from other sources, okay? And you have version 2. And you submit it again to Turnitin. Since the version 1 is there, the version 2 will take version 1 as a submitted work. And they will tell you, now it's not 30, now it's 90. Because it's your own work, but you cannot really eliminate that in a simple way. So using Turnitin is not the answer. Using Turnitin is the answer for the professor because you submitted once. But for you to check if you did it right, the best criteria is yourself. If you don't cheat, you don't need Turnitin. Good?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Do you think it's like a relation between the media and AI?
Media, you mean mass media or digital media? Newspapers. Correlation, what do you mean? Let's a little more, please. Elaborate. Elaborate a little further. What do you mean? The correlation.
Because I believe a little bit like in the context of AI is always like power, you know, between like the biggest countries in the world, like to want to control everything, to follow like a pattern. So, and the same happened with the media. Like everything that we watch in the media is because someone say like, okay, you have to show this, like to the masses, people. So it exists like a correlation between both. Like this will create like something, like the people will follow this partner that they are like creating, you know?
Okay, I understand better now. The first thing is that you are I think, entitled as your best person to support you, okay, and to double check and double guess what is happening in the world. So critical thinking is your best tool. You don't need AI. You need yourself. Okay, this is the first thing. Okay, so no matter, I never understand what you say. I'm voting right. I'm voting right. I'm voting right. Suddenly there is a campaign with WhatsApps sending that I don't know what happened with the right. And I say, no, I voted left, but you're a stupid guy. If you are a righty guy, vote right. It doesn't matter what a campaign is telling you, but this happens. Okay, this collective behavioral shaping manipulation is happening everywhere. Okay, and tipping the scales for the voting across the world. This is happening. So, but if you have your principles pretty clear and your critical thinking is very well established, you are completely immune to anyone that can actually turn you to the other side of the table. This is the first thing. The second thing is that AI is a tool. That's it, and everyone will use it.
Yeah, but is it good or not?
You have to be clever enough to understand if they are trying to manipulate or at least get some influence into your opinion, position, or whatever, okay? And the third thing is that most of the things that we are doing right now with AI are based on open models. OpenAI, for instance, is the engine behind ChatGPT, but there are many others, okay? And these open models, you can use them to feed your own database. So if you are a large enterprise, Microsoft is not the case, let's say Walmart, okay? You are a large enterprise, Walmart, or Whole Foods, or big supermarket, how is it called that? Supermarket is also, okay. And you have all these, you can apply the OpenAI engine to your database using the engine to process your information. So it's not just that you have a huge brain outside, Big Brother, that tells you what to do, and is that you can use that tool to process your own things, own information. So the media can do that, of course, but not just the media, also the, I don't know, the fast food. Anyone, McDonald's can do that. So it's a possibility, it is, but not just with media, with anyone. For instance, hospitals, healthcare systems. Scary, no? That they can process all this AI, I guess, for the good. Maybe the insurance company doesn't think exactly alike and they process for other things. I don't know. Depends. But anyway, you are the best. Stop it there, okay, to know what is in or not.
Yes, I think we have reached the time. So thank you for joining us here at the campus. Thank you for joining us online. This will be a series of presentations that Dr. Burgos will be doing. So I think it's a very...
Really, I will do more.
I think so, because you just opened the brain of our students and they are quite interested in the topic. So thank you so much for coming, and let's hope to see you soon again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you online. Thank you here. Cheers.